The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides guidance for connecting a single generator to two separate residences from the same utility transformer. Article 702 addresses the emergency systems, specifically Section 702.5 subsection A, covering portable generator systems. This section allows a portable generator to supply emergency power to two or more premises from a single utility transformer, provided certain conditions are met. Firstly, the generator must be equipped with a transfer switch or interlock device. This device is crucial to prevent the generator from inadvertently feeding power back into the utility grid, a scenario known as paralleling. Paralleling can damage equipment, endanger utility workers, and disrupt the power grid. Secondly, the transfer switch or interlock device must be located at the point of connection between the generator and the premises wiring. This ensures that the switching mechanism is readily accessible and directly controls the connection of the generator to the house's electrical system. Thirdly, the generator must be adequately sized to provide sufficient power for all essential loads at both residences. It's essential to calculate the total power demand of the critical circuits in both homes to ensure the generator can handle the load without being overloaded. Overloading can damage the generator and potentially cause a fire. Fourthly, the generator must be connected to the premises wiring through a single disconnecting means located at the point of connection. This disconnecting means, typically a circuit breaker or switch, allows for the complete isolation of the generator from the house's electrical system for maintenance or in case of an emergency. The transfer switch or interlock device has specific requirements. Firstly, the device must prevent the generator from energizing the utility conductors while the generator is operating. This reinforces the prevention of paralleling and ensures that the generator's power does not flow back into the utility grid. Secondly, the transfer switch or interlock device must be manually operated. It cannot be capable of being reset remotely. This ensures that a person is physically present at the transfer switch to operate it, allowing for visual confirmation of the system's status and preventing unintended operation. Thirdly, the transfer switch or interlock device must be clearly labeled to indicate its purpose and provide operating instructions. Clear labeling helps prevent confusion and ensures that anyone operating the switch understands its function and the proper procedures. One of the two residences needs to be designated as the sensing residence. This residence will monitor the utility power and activate the generator when a power outage occurs. The generator then supplies power to both residences. The sensing residence needs to be set up to detect the loss of normal utility power. When a power outage is detected, the transfer switch in the sensing residence automatically starts the generator, or if the generator is manually started, the switch transfers the electrical load from the utility to the generator. This setup triggers the generator to provide power to both residences. There are additional considerations to keep in mind. Firstly, the generator must be installed and maintained in accordance with all applicable codes and standards. This includes local building codes, fire codes, and any other regulations that apply to generator installations. Proper installation and maintenance are crucial for safe and reliable operation. Secondly, it is recommended to consult with a qualified electrician to ensure proper installation and compliance with all requirements. A qualified electrician has the expertise to assess the electrical needs of both residences, select the appropriate generator size, install the transfer switches correctly, and ensure that the entire system meets all applicable codes. Thirdly, utility companies may have specific requirements for the installation and use of generators. It is important to contact the utility company before installing a generator. Utility companies may have regulations regarding the type of transfer switch that can be used, the location of the generator, and other safety requirements. Some utility companies might require an inspection of the generator installation before it can be connected to the house's electrical system. Always consult the relevant NEC articles and local codes for the most accurate and up-to-date information. The NEC is updated regularly, so it is important to ensure that you are using the latest edition. It is also important to consult with local building officials to determine if there are any local amendments to the NEC that apply in your area. When sizing the generator, it is crucial to consider the starting wattage of appliances and equipment. Some appliances, such as air conditioners and refrigerators, require significantly more power to start than they do to run continuously. The generator must be able to handle these starting surges. It is also important to consider the voltage requirements of the appliances and equipment that will be powered by the generator. Most residential appliances operate at 120 volts, but some appliances, such as electric ranges and dryers, operate at 240 volts. The generator must be able to provide both 120 volts and 240 volts if necessary. When installing the transfer switch, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. The transfer switch must be properly grounded to prevent electrical shock. The wiring connections must be tight and secure to prevent overheating and arcing. When operating the generator, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. Never operate the generator in an enclosed space, as this can lead to carbon monoxide poisoning. Ensure the generator is placed on a level surface and is protected from the weather. Periodically inspect the generator for any signs of damage or oil wear. Change the oil and air filter regularly as recommended by the manufacturer. Store the generator in a dry place when not in use. The NEC provides specific guidance on the types of wiring methods that can be used for generator connections. It is important to use the correct type of wiring to ensure safe and reliable operation. The NEC also provides guidance on the sizing of overcurrent protection devices such as circuit breakers and fuses. It is important to use the correct size overcurrent protection devices to protect the generator and the house's electrical system from overloads and short circuits. The NEC also addresses the requirements for grounding and bonding of generators. Proper grounding and bonding are essential to prevent electrical shock and to ensure that the generator operates safely. In addition to the NEC, there may be other applicable standards and regulations that apply to generator installations. These may include local building codes, fire codes, and environmental regulations. It is important to consult with local authorities to determine all applicable requirements. It's critical to perform regular maintenance on the generator to ensure it operates reliably when needed. This includes checking the oil level, cleaning the air filter, and inspecting the spark plugs. It's also a good idea to run the generator periodically, even when there is no power outage, to ensure that it is in good working order. Carbon monoxide detectors should be installed in both residences to provide warning of dangerous carbon monoxide levels. Generators produce carbon monoxide, so it's important to take precautions to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning. When selecting a generator, consider the noise level. Some generators are quieter than others. If noise is a concern, choose a generator with a low noise rating. Consider the fuel type. Generators can run on gasoline, propane, or natural gas. Each fuel type has its advantages and disadvantages. Gasoline is readily available but can be expensive. Propane is cleaner burning than gasoline but requires a storage tank. Natural gas is typically the least expensive fuel but requires a connection to a natural gas line. Think about the portability of the generator. Portable generators are easy to move around, but they typically have a lower power output than stationary generators. Stationary generators are typically installed permanently and have a higher power output. Consider the warranty offered by the manufacturer. A good warranty can provide peace of mind in case of problems with the generator. Consider the reputation of the manufacturer. Choose a generator from a reputable manufacturer with a proven track record of reliability. Obtain all necessary permits and approvals before installing the generator. Some jurisdictions require permits for generator installations. Contact the local building department to determine the requirements in your area. Ensure that the generator is installed in a location that is accessible for maintenance and repairs. The generator should be located in a well-ventilated area to prevent overheating. Protect the generator from the elements. If the generator is located outdoors, it should be protected from rain, snow, and sun. Use a generator enclosure or cover to protect the generator from the elements. Properly store fuel for the generator. Gasoline should be stored in approved containers in a well-ventilated area away from heat and sparks. Propane tanks should be stored outdoors in a safe location. Before operating the generator, read the owner's manual carefully. The owner's manual contains important information about the safe operation and maintenance of the generator. Never operate the generator indoors or in a partially enclosed space. Generators produce carbon monoxide, a deadly gas that can cause death. Always operate the generator in a well-ventilated area away from doors, windows, and vents. Use a carbon monoxide detector to alert you to the presence of carbon monoxide. Never refuel the generator while it is running or hot. Allow the generator to cool down before refueling. Use only the type of fuel recommended by the manufacturer. Never mix different types of fuel. Avoid overloading the generator. Overloading the generator can damage it and can cause a fire. Know the power requirements of the appliances and equipment that you will be powering with the generator. Do not exceed the generator's rated power output. Inspect the generator regularly for leaks, damage, or loose connections. Have the generator serviced by a qualified technician on a regular basis. Follow the manufacturer's recommendations for service intervals. Keep the area around the generator clean and free of debris. Debris can obstruct airflow and cause the generator to overheat. Be aware of the potential hazards associated with generators. Generators can produce carbon monoxide, electrical shock, and fire. Take precautions to protect yourself and others from these hazards. Know what to do in case of an emergency. Have a plan in place in case of a power outage or other emergency. Know how to shut down the generator quickly and safely. Know how to contact emergency services. Be prepared for extended power outages. Have a supply of food, water, and other essential supplies on hand. Consider the environmental impact of generator use. Generators can produce air pollution and noise pollution. Take steps to minimize the environmental impact of generator use. Use a generator that is certified to meet emissions standards. Operate the generator only when necessary. Consider using alternative power sources, such as solar power, if possible. Comply with all applicable regulations regarding generator use. Some jurisdictions have regulations regarding the hours of operation, noise levels, and emissions from generators. The transfer switch or interlock device must be installed in accordance with all applicable codes and standards. The transfer switch or interlock device must be listed and labeled by a recognized testing laboratory. The transfer switch or interlock device must be sized appropriately for the generator and the electrical load. The transfer switch or interlock device must be installed in a location that is accessible for maintenance and repairs. The transfer switch or interlock device must be protected from the elements. The transfer switch or interlock device must be clearly labeled to indicate its purpose and the operating instructions. Before operating the transfer switch or interlock device, read the owner's manual carefully. The owner's manual contains important information about the safe operation of the transfer switch or interlock device. Never operate the transfer switch or interlock device if it is damaged or malfunctioning. Have the transfer switch or interlock device serviced by a qualified technician on a regular basis. The NEC provides specific requirements for the wiring of emergency systems. Emergency systems must be wired separately from normal power circuits. Emergency systems must be protected by overcurrent protection devices that are sized appropriately for the load. Emergency systems must be grounded and bonded in accordance with the NEC requirements. Emergency systems must be tested regularly to ensure that they are functioning properly. Keep records of all testing and maintenance of the emergency system. Ensure that all personnel who operate or maintain the emergency system are properly trained. The NEC provides specific requirements for the location of generators. Generators must be located in a well-ventilated area. Generators must be located away from combustible materials. Generators must be located in a location that is accessible for maintenance and repairs. Generators must be protected from the elements. Generators must be installed in accordance with all applicable codes and standards.